Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. At the Select Board meeting this week, we did the following. You tired there, Gino?
I raced to get here, sorry.
You did.
Yeah. I'm actually still sweaty.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you for sharing. Saturday, April 4th. Hopefully everybody knows what that date means.
Easter?
No.
Gee.
Correct. Annual town meeting.
Oh.
Saturday, April 4th, 2020. So hopefully everybody has marked that down and they will be attending. The warrant is open for citizen article submittals until this Monday, November 18th at 4 p.m. Please do not bring your article in after 4 p.m. And there's a packet online. If you're still mulling it over, you still have some time. There's a packet online and it's available in the town admin office and the town clerk's office. Tells you how to do it. All right. Let's see, what else here did we do? We had some gifts. Okay, so there's this program going on, this study going on with MIT about developing a genetically altered mouse on Nantucket for the prevention of the spread of Lyme disease and tick-related illness purposes. And the Board of Health was seeking one of the board members to be on a steering committee, which doesn't meet very often right now because this is going to take years to develop this potential program. Anyway, long story short, Rita Higgins was designated the select board member to be on the steering committee, and she is already on the Board of Health, so it works out. We reviewed with the board where we are with proposed fiscal 21, the next fiscal year, capital projects, and we're deep into working with the Capital Program Committee to vet all of the projects, review them, ask a lot of questions about them, and then ultimately there will be recommendations developed for the Select Board and FinCom consideration, and then the FinCom will have a motion for a town meeting about the capital projects. We talked about the town management, well, didn't really talk about it. I give the board a monthly town management activities report, so I can just go through some of the stuff items that we're working on at present. Great news, the fire department is moving to the fire station next Wednesday, the 20th. There will be some disruption, obviously, when they're all moving over to the new facility. So if you have any business with the fire department next week, try to do it early in the week or later in the week. Don't do it on Wednesday.
What about the party?
Okay, the party's
That's what everybody's been waiting for.
I know. The party's going to happen, but not right away. We haven't even scheduled a date yet,
maybe
but it's going to be a little ways off. Maybe a springtime party, maybe a holiday party, but maybe a springtime party would be better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's too much holiday stuff already. TBD.
Any kind
to
of
be
party
determined.
would be fine with me.
Okay, great. We had a discussion about the PEG channel, the Public Education and Government channel, and how it is funded, how it works with NCTV.
Tell people how it's funded.
Well, it's basically funded through what's called I guess it's called a franchise fee. It is a 3% surcharge on everybody's cable bill. That money goes to NCTV, and it is divided up into the PEG channel, which is Public Education and Government. So I don't know that it works out quite to the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 goes to each one of those things. That's typically, or I guess supposed to work kind of like that. So NCTV is supposed to just use that money to tape governmental programming or put on governmental programming. And we have so many boards, committees, and commissions that meet pretty regularly that they can't get to it all. And there's issues with the way we're set up. We don't have every single room where boards, committees, and commissions meet wired. They're all over the place. We have, for example, the public safety facility, community room, F4 Fairgrounds Road. That is wired, was built in that way to be videotaped. The training room upstairs in that building was wired for training purposes, because that's what it technically is, a training room. However, we've kind of taken it over for board, committee, and commission meetings, and it's not really set up for that. So we've had to make some modifications to some of our rooms, and NCTV has to come in and do setup and unset up and stuff like that. And there's often even when a room is set up, something might go wrong. So if it's a live tape, they've got to be there to deal with the cameras or the sound or whatever might go wrong. Or alternatively, they just tape the meeting remotely and it is played at a later time. It's not live. So there's lots, it gets kind of complicated the more you get into it. So ultimately, what the board did was authorize a $49,500 contract for technical support so that they can be paid to provide all that stuff that I just said.
So they're going
the taping of the meetings.
From a $300,000 budget to a $350,000 budget.
Well,
to do what they're supposed to be doing, but more of it.
Well, the
Because
franchise,
they're saying they can't do it all.
they are saying they can't do it all. And the franchise fee that comes in, I think, is around $300, but remember that's for all the things,
Now,
P, E, and G,
So,
not
yes,
just
I
G.
understand. So that 3%, as long as you have you're a subscriber to Comcast cable TV, 3% of that bill, but people are going off that quite
That's an
quickly.
issue. And we're also in the process of negotiating our cable license renewal with Comcast, and we are asking for a 5% fee, as
Okay,
many towns
so
have done.
is the town prepared to pay that, continue to pay them more
I-
and more money?
Don't know right now. I don't know. But it may be something, as
I'm
has,
sitting there listening to this, Libby, and you know, I do these things for free, and I'm back there listening, and
Yeah.
not one selectman turned to me, who's back in the corner filming these every week, to say, well, what does Gino think of this?
I know, well,
They couldn't even figure out what to charge. I mean, how many meetings can you do for 50 grand? That's the question.
that is the question. It's
And
a
nobody
little,
got that answer.
I know, well, it's a little complicated because they're all different
No, I'll tell you
lengths.
exactly what it is. We become accustomed to the government taking care of us and using the highest quality equipment. The issue was, these meetings need to be archived. They don't have to be live.
Right,
That's the
correct.
big issue.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
is,
not that difficult, and it's not that expensive. I got news for you.
I think we kind of came down to that in the end.
All right. I mean, look, they're fine. It's not, there's nothing, I do my own thing, but when I do see something that rises up that
Mm-hmm.
people should be aware of, this is one of them.
Yes, I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
So we had that lengthy discussion, and then the board gave a little bit of updates under committee reports. At the board's meeting next week, we are reviewing, we've already had one or two discussions about potential 2020 annual town meeting warrant articles sponsored by the town. We're going to be discussing that again next Wednesday. Has anything else come in? Because a few more things have come in, and where are we developing certain other articles? And to the extent that we have it available, the list of citizen warrant articles will be potentially reviewed by the board, but they all have to be processed and the signatures all certified, and so I'm just not sure it's going to be ready for Wednesday, but if it's not, we'll do it at a subsequent meeting. We have scheduled 2 utility petitions and also the annual tax rate setting hearing, and I'm told that that may or may not proceed forward due to additional information that isn't received yet. So we're waiting on that. The energy coordinator is going to come in and review request the adoption of an energy reduction plan that is part of the requirements for municipalities to become designated as a green community by the state, which opens you up to being eligible for different types of energy-related grants
Which would mean
and an annual grant.
we would be granted more money if we back off of the energy use we're using now.
Well, that's one aspect of it, yes. But yes, so a number of communities in Massachusetts are designated as green communities. So like I said, it makes you eligible for certain types of energy-related grants. For example, you could probably get a grant to help you install solar panels on a municipal building, maybe even on private buildings, through some kind of a payback loan situation. There are monies available to develop a climate action plan, the purchase of electric vehicles, the purchase of charging stations, things like that.
Great.
Many different things. It's a very wide-ranging program. So we're going to be discussing that. And best of all, the board is going to be having ongoing discussion about paid parking. We had a public hearing 2 weeks ago, and there was some definite public comment about this, and the board took it all in and said we're going to talk about it again on November 20th. So that is what is happening next week.
So it's another public.
It's not a public hearing, although
Okay.
the board agreed if people want to come and give additional public input, they are welcome to do so.
I mean, it would be a good time for those who think it's a good idea to show up, because
Yes.
last meeting, it was all people who didn't want it.
Yeah, I think there were one or two there who spoke in support, but it was pretty
Mostly,
overwhelmingly
right, okay.
not in support. Or in support, there was definitely some, we don't want this expressed. But there was also some, if we're going to have it, we want you to look at X, Y, Z types of things. Because some of it's not decided yet, because there are some decision points that the board has to make policy-wise that they're taking in right now, they're considering. So they haven't done that yet. Okay, so that's next week. And I'm in something of a fluster today because I forgot my appointment book at home along with my iPad and some important papers that I completely forgot to bring with me because
You may have to run back.
I'm going to have to wait till noontime.
Hey, well, okay, good. But when I showed up, we started talking about this interview I did with Mark Willett. This is a good time for us to talk about water, the PFAS, and remember I mentioned that to you, what's going on the Cape?
Yep.
They had to buy a very expensive carbon filter to
Yeah.
filter all their water because there's so many chemicals that have seeped down into their aquifer. And then you and I started to talk about the environment and how important it is for
Yes.
the island,
Yes.
the things that we're doing, right?
Yeah, especially here because we have a sole source aquifer.
Yeah.
And one of the board's goal areas is water quality. And there are a lot of town programs and activities already focused on that. But there's new things coming in all the time. For example, the PFAS, PFAS. That stands for something. I can't even tell you what that is.
It's a chemical name.
It's a chemical, and it's surfaced, at least in our area on the Cape, as a result of firefighting foam leaking into water areas. And like at the firefighter training area in one of the areas in Barnstable on the Cape. And so it's become a major issue for municipalities to have to test for this contaminant. And if it is found in your area, there's remediation that needs to be done. You've got to remove all that soil and dispose of it in a proper way and then replace it with clean soil. So we've had a lot of discussion about this at the departmental level and determined which departments need to focus on this, and we're probably going to be engaging a consultant. In fact, I think the airport already has. And they're going to be looking at the island and determining with all of our input where this may or may not be an issue and what we need to do about it. It's going to be very costly if we need to if we find it and have to do something.
But it's not only that chemical, it's any chemical that we use on the surface.
Yeah.
20% of it seeps down into the aquifer.
Well, there's that, and there's microplastics. I mean,
Right.
every week there's another thing about microplastics.
Yeah.
It's a really significant
I know
problem.
you're a big anti-trash that will drive you.
Yep,
and
I
this
am.
is another one that I'm going to have to add to the list.
Yeah, I'm not sure
You've gotta
how.
be more.
I haven't heard yet how we've been having these monthly solid waste summits, and last night's summit was about coastal litter, roadside litter, and construction site litter. And that's mostly litter, but some of that, gets into our environment and affects our health.
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of that, and that's why we have a plastics ban going into effect on June 1st, 2020. And there may be some additional items added to that ban at the 2020 annual town meeting. Don't know yet what they might be.
Oh, really? Are you teasing? Do you have
No, I'm
some
not
knowledge
teasing.
we don't know about?
Well, it's just not developed yet. But for example, our current plastics ban, this is just one example, prohibits flexible 6-pack yolks, 6-pack only. So we are talking about all flexible yolks, 4, 2, 8.
Great.
That's just one thing.
That's easy. Get rid of them.
Well,
Figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll live without it. What did people do before plastic?
I don't
Did
really
they use
know.
glass? Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Did they have a milkman?
Yes.
You can't be driving around in a carbon-producing vehicle anymore, but, we can figure this out.
Yeah, we can figure it out. It's just people are going to have to let go of some of the convenience.
Right. And the ease. They can't just forget
Yeah.
about it, throw it away and
Right,
forget about it.
right.
If you're going to throw it away, you got to know where it ends up.
So a lot more discussion is going to be coming forward about that.
Hey, is it too late to put in a article, or no?
A citizen
That's-
article?
Yeah.
You must not have been listening to the very beginning of this when I said that the citizen warrant article submittal deadline is Monday, the
Thank
18th
you.
at 4 PM.
Just another reminder for
Yes,
folks.
very good. Thank you for that. So
Uh-huh.
that, on that note, thanks for watching. See you next time.